What's up? Welcome back. This right here is going to be the season finale of Talk That Talk. I'm your host, Coach KB. I got my guest over here with me. This is Mike Marshall. I'm going to introduce him. I know him because he is from Weymouth, Mass. And I met you through Sean. So my friend, one of my good friends, shout out Sean while he works. He used to train Mike when Mike was in high school over at Thayer Academy, and Mike was a high jumper, and that's how I was introduced to him. So he's a high jumper from Thayer Academy, graduated in 21.
Correct, yeah.
21, he played basketball and track, has the high jump record over there. We'll talk about that later. ISL champion in the high jump and long jump, all ISL honors, got a D1 scholarship to go to Bryant University. Just graduated, played basketball and track over there. D1, both sports. Talk about that again. But right now he's working pretty hard. That's why we had to wait for all the way for the season finale. He was actually supposed to be the first episode, but now he's the last. And that just shows you how hard he's working and all the things that he's doing right now. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But again, going down the list with the accolades, man. You got, in your freshman year, tied school records, all that stuff. So I'm going to introduce him, let him talk a little bit about it. Mike Marshall, everybody.
Bro, thanks for having me. I'm just happy to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. So if you can give me a little bit of rundown on like your background, how'd you get into sports? Because to be a dual sport athlete in college, you had to have started playing sports real young, right? So
yeah.
Like, was your family into sports?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's kind of all my family preached. My dad's huge into sports. So is my mom. So they threw me in all the sports. I mean, started out, obviously, like most kids I grew up with, the youth soccer, stuff like that, playing at Central Field. Got thrown into every sport, which I think is great, especially for young kids trying to figure it out, being around similar-minded kids, being around, other colleagues outside of, your classrooms. Finding out which sport is really meant for you. And I really think dual athletes just have a great experience about sports in general and a good outlook on life when they have a broadened perspective when it comes to sports. So I was just thrown in it by my dad and kind of rolled with it and eventually picked some. So.
Yeah. So you said your dad played sports and your mom, they were both college athletes as well?
My mom grew up playing sports. She did not play in college. My father grew up playing sports, basketball and baseball. He did go to UMass for a semester for baseball and ended up leaving to work in the trades. Very hardworking dude, one of my biggest role models. So, yeah.
Oh, awesome. So you were from Weymouth. How'd you end up at Thayer?
Yeah, so I grew up in Weymouth schools. When it was time to go to high school, my family was very religious. Grew up in a pretty religious household, which is awesome. Faith's like a pretty big part of my life. So they decided to put me in Cardinal Spellman in Brockton, which is about 15 minutes from my house. And I wasn't pumped at the beginning. And I ended up enjoying it. And I was playing in a Christmas tournament over there. I was at Oliver Ames. I was playing varsity basketball as a sophomore this year. And Coach Odom, who was my high school basketball coach at Thayer, coincidentally was there watching his nephew on the opposing team. And I had a pretty good game. And he talked to me after and asked, you're from Weymouth. Would you be interested in thinking about transferring and trying a new education? And, I gave it a go and the admissions process went well. Everything kind of fit into place. And I was just really happy and blessed to go to Thayer. I loved it a lot. So, yeah,
shout out to a lot of things that you just mentioned. Yeah. Thayer actually gave me my first entry into the boarding school as a high jump coach for the track team. So shout out to Coach Callum, Coach Brown over there.
Great dudes, yeah.
I know they're a little bit after your time over there, but
I was there, yeah.
They just kind of like helped open me up to the ISL world. I didn't even know it existed. I was down the street in Weymouth and went public school, right? But the fact you said you went to Cardinal Spellman and that was kind of your entry into the ISL. Shout out to Spellman too. My guy over there, Jaquan Johnson. I have an interview with him on the channel. Go check that out.
Awesome.
Head football coach down there, and he's teaching in the school as well.
Great.
But I didn't even know you went there, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But he, it was always kind of like, public school. The kids that went to private went to like BC High or Zavarian. Those are the two that I heard about all the time. Yeah. CM. Then the other public schools were like Everett. Springfield Central,
Yeah,
like those are the
stuff like
schools that
football.
were they're still
Yeah.
relevant today, you
Yeah.
know, and that was how I heard about some of the schools out there. So the fact that the ISL and everything had the schools that were here with long, outstanding traditions and histories, and I didn't even know
Sneaky
because
athletes.
I moved here, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like that having access to those opportunities and having someone seek out you while you were playing as an opposing, like his nephew, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's just the fact that can happen, and it can open doors for you that we can talk about a little bit later. But that's just the reason why I even accepted my role now.
Exactly.
You know what
The
I mean?
network effect, man.
And now I'm going to be working in admissions at Middlesex. And that's essentially what I'm able to do, is see the people that are applying to come in and, you know, have the conversations with them and kind of really help guide them towards a better future. And there's only so many seats, right? So we have to be selective, and, you know, it costs money to go to that school.
Of course.
But at the same time, like, if we can present an opportunity to some kids and they are able to step up, I'm
That's what it's all
like,
about.
you know, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to
As you
this
should.
football season and all the years to come down the road. But
Hell yeah.
the fact that you went to a private school and then boarding school, like, do you think that if you went to Weymouth High, you would have had a similar experience in a public school?
No, I don't think it would be similar at all. I think that Thayer specifically, they did a great job as far as education, getting me ready for college. The way they set up their classes, you know, you're not stuck in a class during a in-between period. You know, you kind of have the freedom to do what you want, similar to college. You show up for class, you show up for practice, you show up for your lift times. Anything outside of that, it's on you to get your work done, which is the same thing in college. I didn't have any of that in Weymouth schools, and it's nothing against the public school system at all. I just thought Thayer did a great job with it. You know, when I was at Thayer, they made the athletes play 2 sports or be in two activities, 2 clubs or something like that. And I thought that was great as well. The class sizes, both like individually in the classrooms, and then the overall class sizes were great. So for me, it was awesome. Yeah. So
Oh, that's good. And I hear a lot of great things, like I said, from the kids over there.
Yeah.
And then you just see it as well.
Of course.
And that's not a downplay on any public schools.
Yeah.
And I actually, you know, I love Weymouth High. I'm a graduate of Weymouth High.
Exactly.
My little brother still goes to Weymouth High. My best friend's a coach at Weymouth High, you know what I mean? And they're actually improving their systems, but there's actually so many things that they can't do and things that they can do. And there's not that much funneling through the town budget as they are in like some of the private school situations.
Exactly.
And that just opens up the door for some of the opportunities that exist out there. Take with that what you can. And like I said, in the private schools and the prep schools and the boarding schools, that's not for everybody. So don't think that if you go there,
It's not.
you're actually going to excel. It's just going to be a matter of situation and who you are as a person. So you have to go out there and actually put forth your best foot, you know, actually be academically driven. Are you going to go out and help out in the community and take on different things and be a part of like the theater programs and things like that
Exactly.
that a lot of these schools offer, and not let it overwhelm you while still excelling and aiming to get better at your sports. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So that's a whole different world.
It is.
For some of these kids to even fathom. And when you talk to them, you can see if there has been exposure or not. And I think the earlier you can actually expose some of the younger kids to that, it helps, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But let's fast forward a little bit to you getting into college. So how did your recruiting process at Thayer go? Did just because you were in the ISL or played in the NEPSAC tournaments, did that help with recruiting for basketball? Were you recruited for basketball first? Can you talk a little bit about that whole process? Yeah.
So I was actually never recruited for track. I did track at Thayer as a sports requirement, so I could keep playing AAU basketball. And essentially, I had a great sophomore year in track. It was kind of on the side. Senior year is when I did really well in track. COVID year was my junior year.
Okay.
So essentially, my numbers, I would have got recruited mostly off my senior year, but I was already committed to play basketball. So it wasn't even a thought. And like I said, I was kind of doing it as a second sport. So I was getting recruited for basketball. I thought Thayer did a great job playing in the NEPSAC, the ISL specifically, with the exposure, playing against multiple Division I commits every game, playing in these really cool Christmas tournaments. it gave me the options to play for AAU programs that knew I was kind of battle tested compared to, dominating the public school league, playing against kids who may not be college athletes.
So they just trusted your resume a little bit more, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. And I think AAU did a great job as far as recruiting, but high school, I think the ISL, the NEPSAC, that was great exposure. So as far as recruiting goes, it was great. It was all basketball, mostly for basketball. And then due to COVID, the process totally shut down. I ended up playing with an AAU program in Rhode Island called Basketball Club Rhode Island. I switched programs because in Massachusetts, they were not allowing AAU tournaments.
Oh.
So I played with a team out of Rhode Island.
Gotcha.
And essentially the Bryant coaches got in contact with me due to that. And they gave me a chance, which was awesome. So,
and that was your junior year. So that was big recruiting year where everything kind of slowed all the way down. So you had to go out of the state just to find an opportunity.
Exactly.
And,
and kids were getting another year as well at the same time. So while that was all happening, the kids in college, the seniors that were supposed to leave are all coming back for another year at the same time. So I feel bad for anyone that was, part of that process.
It's hard for me just as someone who graduated high school and was out of college and way before COVID happened. Like by the time COVID happened, I felt like I was like my son was born.
Yeah.
In
totally
2020, you know
life,
what I mean?
Bro.
So I was already grown by that time. Like, even though I felt young, and it was only 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever you want to say. We're getting there, right?
Yeah.
So we were kind of blindly led into it, and then it was kind of around 2019, just the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And we're feeling the effects now, but still. But the fact that you guys had to go through that in the education system and athletically,
where
you're
so
saying
different.
like they're shutting things down, or they're saying you can have practice outside, but you can't have practice inside.
No.
Even though it's the same, like.
Or you're playing a basketball game with a mask on.
No, that's crazy. I actually saw pictures, videos, and my kids always go through my phone and go to the videos. So I saw videos of me like coaching with a mask on inside a gym. I was just like, I forgot I even did that.
Yeah.
And just like thinking about it right now, like I understand why we took the precautions and things like that. But just like as far as like the opportunities and the doors closing and things getting little bit more tricky to navigate at a crucial transition point in your life, I commend you for even taking that extra step and finding that opportunity that opened the door for you to go and do a bunch of crazy things. So now you're getting recruited because of you left and went to Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. You get the Bryant coach to offer you. Were there any other colleges looking at you in basketball like that?
There were
at the time.
Not at the time. They kind of all stopped reaching out. I played with a really good AAU program, Team New England.
Okay.
The director really helped me out a lot. I loved him. He let me play up with his 17U team all throughout high school. And, he was going to get me into a college. He was going to find me a nice spot. I was talking to a good amount of schools, low Division I, some local, some not. And during COVID, a lot of them didn't like ghost me or stop reaching out, but they kind of put it on hold because they didn't know who was coming back on their roster, what their season was looking like. They were dealing with all the change as well. So the last thing on their radar was recruiting high school kids during the time of COVID. So it was really tough, but I think that's where a lot of kids grew, but that's also where a lot of kids did not grow because they're staying in the house. They're not playing organized sports. So it's kind of up to them to do what they want with their time and make the most of it or not. And, there's no right answer. But for me, I kind of took it as an advantage to separate myself with the more time that I had on my hands. And it did work out. So I'm very thankful for it.
All right. So when track coaches came to you as a basketball player, did you even entertain them after you already like...
So I had already committed to Bryant early in my senior year, which was ideal. For me, that was a goal. I wanted to commit to a college before my senior year started to get going so I could just play sports, graduate, and know I'm going to college rather than have to deal with it throughout my senior year. And that was kind of the same process I had when I was in college as a senior with the job. I didn't want to graduate and not have a job, which is a big struggle right now, actually, you see with a lot of kids. But
man, that's prepared. Good stuff.
Exactly. Try to stay efficient with that. But I was getting recruited right when the spring season started, when I started jumping some really good heights. And I didn't know what they were going to offer. I had already committed to college. I was happy with where I was at, and I really enjoyed playing basketball. I kind of didn't love track. So I kind of just like,
didn't.
yeah. So I kind of just, thank you. I'm already committed to school. Yeah. If anything changes, I'll reach out, stuff like that. But it was weird, and it was an interesting process because I never dealt with track coaches.
Yeah. So as far as like basketball goes, so when you're committed to play a sport, like I was getting recruited while I didn't play. But the fact that you made that commitment like early in your senior years, like I waited until January, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To let people know.
Which is still a good spot.
And but I think it was the fact that I might be in January my junior year though.
Yeah, which is even better.
So and that was the reason why people didn't think I was gonna end up playing
track.
Like basketball and I wasn't gonna do track, and track coaches were still talking to me, and it was kind of a weird situation during my recruiting process, and I didn't even know what was going on. I was just letting other people speak for me. But when you have basketball, like that's a sport that's you have to really stay efficient and work on your skill in order to really continuously improve.
There's levels,
especially when you're going up to D1.
Yeah.
So they were offering you like a full scholarship to come on and be on their team, everything. Okay. So you get the full scholarship for basketball, no track. Like, all right, whatever. But how did you end up on the track team at Bryant?
So I essentially I redshirted my freshman year. We had a meeting. I had a meeting with Coach Grasso, my head coach, and everyone returned on the team. So we have a very good team. It's a big adjustment for me.
And this is still post-COVID, so obviously there's a lot of
moving parts. He said, "Listen, I want you to dress. I want you to travel," which is not usually a thing. I'm sure you would know with redshirting. But I'm still practicing and stuff like that. And I want to save your eligibility in case you want to go somewhere for your master's. I can help you out. If you ever want to come back here, we can do that. But I don't want to waste a year eligibility just to throw you in at the end of the games during garbage time. And I was totally cool with it. I knew I wasn't going to have a big role. I wasn't going to play. I wasn't going to break in a lineup. So freshman year, I was on scout team, traveled to some really cool places. We went to March Madness, which was like peak experience. That's like the pinnacle of what I was trying to do. I know I'm not going to the NBA, but I made it to a Division I college, so I'm pumped. And not only did I make it there, then we ended up winning the conference. So now I'm pumped. I just got a ring, and now we're on a private jet going to March Madness. So I'm like, doesn't get any better than this. It was awesome, but I didn't feel fulfilled because it was the first time in my life where I wasn't playing. You know what I mean? Like you were always the best athlete in high school. It was like, oh, I'm a practice player. It's just like, it's kind of stinks, even though it's a cool experience.
Yeah, man, and that's pretty tough. I don't want to cut you off because you're on the road.
Do your thing,
I think, but I just wanted to talk, like, have you kind of focus on that. And it's just like, you chose, like, having a sit down man to man with your coach. You chose to take a role for the team. And did that change how you approach practice, or how you approach like taking care of your body, or even how you approach your schoolwork? Like you like, all right, if coach is going to tell me I'm not going to play, maybe let me focus a little bit more in the classroom? Or was it vice versa because you already had, Thayer, you was already here academically? So it was just like, all right, basketball is just an extra thing.
Yeah.
But obviously you love basketball, but if you can touch on like how you accepted your role as auxiliary support, for the team. Because like you said, you weren't playing in the pinnacle moments that you wanted to, but can you talk about a little before that, when how your approach to the team after that conversation? Yeah,
of course. That's a great question. I think throughout college, those 4 years, I think that part was a big life-changing piece for me. What I chose to do with that was to get in extra lifts with my strength coach. I knew I didn't need to, not necessarily not take care of my body. My nutrition was dialed, my strength was dialed, conditioning was dialed. But I used that as an advantage to get better, knowing I didn't need to be fresh for games.
Gotcha.
So I was trying to really level up when it comes to that. And on top of that, I was doing my best in scout team to try to get our guys ready. And I made sure to be the best teammate I could, because I wanted to have a role and I wanted to have purpose on the team, especially since I wasn't one of our main guys. So I was just trying to do whatever we could to make our team win, diving on loose balls in practice, cheering up guys, making sure they're good, getting them after a coach rips them, just, things like that. Trying to be a good teammate and really trying to level up my individual skills in my body with this time that I had to get better. So,
and that's like the most mature mindset that a child can have. And at that time, you're what, 19 years old,
something like
so
that.
it's like the fact that you're even thinking that way, that shows to the preparation that you had even going into college. So kudos to you, man.
For sure.
Having that kind of mentality and being able to still go out there and be the best version of yourself is something that a lot of people can't do. And it takes a leader to be able to take a step back and go out there and take that back seat and really let other people go, but still do your job to the best of your ability. And that also owes to your major, right? So as far as like what you do, you want to talk a little bit about your major in college and how that, like the job you got into right now a little bit?
Yeah, of course, bro. Kind of like everyone else, especially athletes in general in college. It might be different for someone who's not playing sports, but I go to college, I knew I want to do something in quote unquote business, but like, what does that really mean? So I kind of had to dive into it with internships and stuff like that outside of college. And I wasn't sure. Sophomore year, I decided, okay, project management might work for me because I really like being organized. I'm pretty efficient with communication, and I'm not that bad crunching numbers, but I don't want to do it all day. And I've been a leader with sports. I've had a pretty rigid schedule with sports growing up. So I thought it translated well. So I wanted to try it out. I ended up getting a major. I had a couple great internships that I would say prepared me pretty well. But at the end of the day, doing something is the preparing.
100%.
So as far as picking a major, I chose project management. And, it doesn't always work out like you would think. And it might sound smoother than it is. But I thankfully got a project management job with a general contracting company. And it's kind of like a brand new process again. You think you were the man in college, you get a college degree, your family's really proud of you. You had a great academic and athletic career. But now no one really cares about that, after, because you're doing a whole different job. And now you're the rookie. And it's like being on the bench all over again. You got to learn brand new skills, even if you thought you were prepared. So it's cool. Learning's cool.
Yeah, and still be that supportive teammate that's going out there and putting your best work forward now. Of course. And actually showing your value to the team, right?
Yep.
So again, man, I can't commend you enough. I think you're, like I talked to you about this a lot.
Yeah.
Just through our conversations. I think you're a great dude.
Yeah,
I like your drive in the way that you work, man. And that you're the type of people that I would like to keep in my circle
agree,
forever.
Bro. Same here.
And even though the difference is in years, like graduated and we connected over high jump, right?
Yeah.
And it was like little pointers. I came and watch you jump in college. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Even though you weren't having the best day that day, and I could see it on your face, you was all angry and inside, but it was like, it shows that you're an athlete, you're a competitor, but at the same time, you're a great kid and you're growing into being a great man. And now you're going out there and doing some things in the world. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Transitioning over to track though, how did that happen? Like, so you redshirted basketball, coach told you were taking a seat, and then you went to the March Madness. You had all the crazy experience of all that. But how did you transition from basketball to basketball and track to just track?
Yeah, so I would see like the track team in the weight room after us for lifts. And I was just totally curious to wonder what a Division I high jumper jumped, because I had no real idea of numbers. I didn't really know college track. And my strength coach was like, oh, I'm not going to name drop him, but this is our high jumper. He has the school record at like 6'3" or something, 6'2". He's like pretty good in our conference. And I was like, oh, wow, like that's good. But through my head, I'm like, wow.
Because at that point, you had already jumped, 6'8", right? In
high school, it was like 6'8 3/4", almost 6'9". So I was like, wait, like, I wouldn't mind, like, I didn't play much on the basketball team. I wouldn't mind, like, doing some individual stuff now. You know what I mean? Like, I did some cool team accolades. So the strength coach talked to the track coach. The track coach heard the numbers, and he obviously saw me playing on the basketball team and was like, yeah, like, why not? We'll meet with him. Met with him. We agreed, yeah, come out to the meet. We'll give you a jersey. You'll be for us, and we'll see how it goes. And if you like it, you can ride out the spring with us, and you can do the same thing sophomore year, junior year, if it works out. So I was really pumped with that. The first meet, I ended up tying the school record. The team and the teammate, which the school record.
He was still on the team?
He was, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But he didn't have the outdoor record. The outdoor record was like 6'4" and like 3/4, which I ended up tying, which like to me, I was like kind of like disappointed with that. But at the same time, I hadn't high jumped in like a year and a half or like over that. So I was happy with that. The team was all very welcoming. That's the one thing I liked about track. I always thought it was cliquey from an outside looking in. Yeah. That's why perspective is like big when it comes to that stuff, but they were all very welcoming. And I really loved the community there, and I had a great season. And I was happy, and I wanted to do it again sophomore year, and that's what I did. So
you make me think of just like my experience too, because I spent a lot of my time in college around the track team. But that's a whole different story, and I'm not gonna spare you guys those details. But I never ended up going out for the track team, and even the track coach would see me walk in the class, like, "Yo, young fella, come here," and he's a cool dude, man. I wish I still kept in touch with him, and I am like have him on a list to reach out to for some of the athletes that I've been training too.
Yeah, that's cool.
But just to see like what he's looking for, you know what I mean, to try to get the idea of what like a UMass or a Bryant,
like in their athletes,
even maybe some of the lower level schools like Fitchburg's and things like that are looking for an athlete, so I can try to find places for people as well. That's something I'm like a personal project I'm taking on.
That's cool.
But like the fact that you actually committed and made that decision, I think is awesome.
I was like, why not? You only live once. I don't want to look back and regret it. If it doesn't work out, I'll go do something else. But I don't want to look back and say I didn't try it.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah, I feel that. And that's the thing. It's like I feel like my college window, I missed the opportunity to compete collegiately.
Right? Your role on UMass football was a lot bigger than my role on Bryant basketball. So it's tougher for you to make that call.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at it from that perspective as well. So that's pretty okay. And that probably led a lot to your decision to kind of leave basketball behind.
Exactly.
So if you want to elaborate on like how you made that final decision, because like you said, you love basketball. You even committed to it early. And you kind of were shunning the track offers when they were coming in high school. But now here you are, your junior year?
Sophomore year now, and I was doing both. We had a brand new team. My coach kind of cleaned house, brought in some really good transfers, a Miami transfer, a Memphis transfer. Sharif went to LaSalle, like some really good talent. And I knew I don't know if I'm going to break into the 7 or 8 guys that are going to play. I'm probably not going to play. I ended up playing like 10 games, mostly garbage time or preseason games. I was getting a lot of minutes, but that's kind of part of it. We had a good team, kind of fell short. And I went out and did track again my sophomore year. And in the back of my head, I was kind of miserable because with college basketball, you're there all summer training, taking summer classes. All fall is very hard preseason training. And just after Halloween, the season kind of gets going around Thanksgiving. I had Thanksgiving at my college coach's country club because we had a game the next day.
They always have to prepare some kind of Thanksgiving thing.
Yeah, so I'm not coming home for Thanksgiving. I really value my family, so that was tough. Winter break, while all the students are gone, I'm there playing games. I come home for 2 days during Christmas, and then it's right in the track season once it ends. So I kind of had to figure out like what's really important. Like sports are going to end. Like I need to kind of figure this out, and I'm not playing on the basketball team. I probably won't get some serious minutes unless we kind of drop off in our skill. And I knew if I had a good season in track, like I'm probably going to switch over full time. And I ended up having, out of all 4 years, my sophomore year was definitely my best year. And I was just really pumped. I decided to make the decision. I had a lot more time on my hands after that. I was happy. I was still very close with the basketball team.
Summers were on your own, workouts on your own, right?
Of course, bro. It was awesome. And like Coach Grasso, Coach Martelli, who's now at VCU, like they were coming out to all my track meets. It was great. And I really loved the athletic community over at Bryant.
Yeah, shout out to Bryant, man. You also mentioned something made me think of something that I'm gonna get to a little bit later. But the fact that you just decided to, say I'm gonna go into this season, like if I have a good season and I'm actually going to take it full time and take a serious track now, I think that probably is what propelled you to have that
good season.
Blowout season. You know what I mean? And carrying that when you had that free time, it just also might have had a lot of emotions. You said you had a lot of free time and there were benefits, but were there any like negative effects that you felt initially from walking away from basketball?
Negative effects. I did miss it, but at the end of the day, I knew my college career was going to end when I graduated college, and nothing's really going to change in the next 2 years. So deal with it now. So I decided to deal with that. The only negative thing was not being around the team during the good times. I know their junior year, they ended up beating FAU on the road. My sophomore year, we lost to FAU on the road. I wish I was there for that experience. They went to March Madness my senior year and played Michigan State. I do wish I was there for that experience. But like, there's no solutions, right? Like, it's always trade-offs. So yeah, they might have went to March Madness. I look at it like, okay, I already went, but I know all the stuff that outside people don't see that goes into getting to that moment. You know, it's a lot, and it's miserable, and it's draining at times, and it's not rewarding. So I look back at some of those moments. Yeah, I do miss it. I really like the community, the students, the athletic community. So, I mean, yeah, I did miss it at times, but at the end of the day, I knew the ball was going to stop bouncing, and I just kind of applauded them, went to all their games. They supported me as well, and it was a great relationship.
Yeah, man. I actually went over to a couple of March Madness games. If you go watch that episode, what episode was that? 1 to 3, episode 4, Jared Terrell.
Yeah.
I had Jared in here, and we talked about his March Madness experience as well.
Yeah.
But it's just like he was on the court, and I went to go see him as a fan, and I was trying out for NFL teams at the time, so it was like I was on go where I was running around trying to, like, you know, juggle
out.
Life, and he was playing in March Madness, and that to me was like such a big accomplishment.
So cool. Yeah.
That I wanted to go see him in that venue.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching him on TV, like, yo, this is my dog. Like, that's someone I knew.
And he's doing the same to
years, you know?
Yeah.
And then the fact that he was there, and it was like, nah, me and my friend looked and we were like, we're going, and we just went. And so the fact that you even was there and you were on the bench, like, that's an experience. So
awesome.
I can understand that you would want to be there with the good times, because those are your friends you built connections with, right? Yeah. Teammates is a brotherhood. It's a bond.
Oh, yeah.
For
more than you would
lifelong
know.
for most people, right? You don't necessarily, know everybody and going to be best friends with everybody on the team. Maybe basketball is a little bit more of a close-knit dynamic, because there's only 10,
than football.
10 or 12 on 15 on a roster max. Football, you have 100 guys in the locker room.
Yeah, there's cliques. Yeah.
And even like when you're talking about track teams, it's like you practice with your event jumpers. Yeah. So on my official, they called it JC, the jump crew.
Yep, that's what we called it too.
Okay. Yeah. So the jump crew at Pitt, they were like really inviting, welcoming, but it seemed like that was who I was gonna be with for my classes.
It's like a team within a team. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. All right, so one question before we jump into our segment, this or that I talked to you about earlier. Are you satisfied with your athletic resume?
Yes, I am. I definitely am satisfied. There's not much that I could have done more as far as the preparation and the work, and the results kind of come from that. And even if the results weren't as good as, they were, which I'm very blessed for, I can't walk away knowing I didn't try. So I'm very happy and I'm satisfied because of the work on the back end.
Oh, 100%, man. I think you had a great career. The fact that you got to experience things, you went into championships, you competed, you won a championship, correct, right?
Yes.
Basketball team won a championship for the league, right? Track, you won individual championships.
Yep.
And that's the perfect way we're going to segue into our segment, This or That. I'm going to ask Mike over here 2 questions. Or give him 2 scenarios. He's going to pick either this or that. I'm going to slow it down this time because the finale, I really want to take our. I know I said that every episode, and I really don't because I talk too much. But I'm going to slow it down this time just because I think these questions are really going to make you think. And I think it's something that I really want to know, and something that I, being a 2-sport athlete, have dealt with myself. Right. So, first question: this or that. Individual sports or team sports?
Team sports.
Team sports. You want to elaborate a little bit why?
For sure. Individual sports are awesome. And I think there's actually more pressure in individual sports than a team sports, because if you don't do well, it's on you. If your team doesn't do well, even if you had a bad moment, it's on the team. So it's very hard, very challenging. I prefer team sports simply because of the relationships you gain outside of the sport, the communication, learning how to deal with people. All having a common goal is very important, and having each other's back. Whereas individual sports, it's great for the individual, but I think you gain more in life just from being on a team sport.
So real quick, what would be your top 2 individual sports, top 2 team sports that you just enjoy?
Individual sports, I think track is awesome. High level track is really cool to watch. I'm not a fan of watching track in general, but when I see some of the high athletes, it's very cool to watch. So I would definitely say track, all events. And then looking at other individual sports, I actually got pretty close with a couple kids on the swim team. And I didn't realize how nasty they were.
Okay.
And it's kind of an art, it's a skill, and it was really cool to watch that as well. So I mean, swimming looked pretty cool, and obviously track, stuff like that. I think golf is cool too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the two sports that I'm into now, golf and tennis.
Oh,
I'm an old man now. Pickleball,
Yeah.
I haven't really tried it yet. I'm just a more traditionalist, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I like ping pong and table tennis.
Yeah, you'd be nice. Yeah.
But pickleball is a little, like, it's like a yard game.
It's an in-between thing.
Yeah, I'll play, but I used to play Foursquare. That's what it's like to, you know? So the fact they have leagues and stuff like that is kind of crazy, but
I know.
It's actually blown
Trendy.
up a lot in the last couple of years. All right, let's get to the second question, man, because I think you really you answered that well.
Yeah.
Team sports offer it. That's what I would choose.
They just
but
offer
individual
more.
sports are dope. I don't think you listed your top 2 team sports though.
Top 2 team sports. I mean, I can't really speak on some just because I haven't played them. Basketball, I got to say basketball because it's a perfect size. Like you said, 15 guys. You know everyone on the team. You're dealing with each other during film, during practices, during the hard times, during the good times, during all the travels. You're switching it up. You have your roommates. Everything's all cool, and it's a close but not too big group of men. So I would say basketball. And I lived with the lacrosse kids my senior year, and I just really liked their whole team dynamic when they would hang out off the field and stuff like that. You know, outside looking in, it looks culty, but they were a really good group of dudes. I thought lacrosse had a good culture, and I think basketball is a good culture as well.
Yeah, it's definitely outside looking in perspective.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
bro.
I have a affection for lacrosse as well.
Yeah.
It started out in a very negative way. We won't talk about it right now, but somehow, some way, I had a lacrosse stick, right? Let's just say that. And then I used to play lacrosse all the time. And once I found out that Native Americans were the ones who originated the game, and that's actually, my family has Native American blood.
I know.
Right?
It's crazy to look at stuff like that.
Couple different tribes, and so it was pretty cool for me to like, oh, okay, I didn't know really about this, so I picked it up, and I was actually good. I have coordination,
you
know,
move,
I'm an athlete, but I never played.
It's not that
I used to
hard to
play.
pick up.
I used to play wall ball and stuff and catch with whoever else had a lacrosse stick.
Yeah,
but I never went out there and actually tried to like score on a team.
Yeah.
Play. I don't even know how many people on the field.
Me neither. Yeah, I live with them. I don't even know.
The culture around it does look a little cliquey. The same way you said about track, right?
Yeah.
It looks like, you know, something like, oh, the nerdy, or you know whatever, quiet, introverted, or the distance kids. But it's like some of those kids are the most outgoing, the most fun. That they're very smart, intelligent.
They are,
and they work super hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I really enjoy coaching track as well. And I'm looking forward to this season. We got a couple of athletes up there at Middlesex, so it's gonna be fun.
It'll be fun, bro.
Yeah. Speaking of coaching, I'm gonna save that one. All right, we're gonna go to number 2. This or that. Ready? All right. You get your eligibility back for basketball and can play 3 more seasons at any school. Or that you compete one last time in a track meet.
Well, what would the track meet be?
It's your pick, man.
I would want to compete at one last track meet, in a high level track meet, and give it one more go and a cool experience. Because at the end of the day, it all stops. You know, playing 3 more years of basketball, it's 3 more years of grind, 3 more years of trying to get on the court. You know, even if you have cool experiences at a high level school like Duke or something like that. I mean, totally just like talking about different situations. But I would take one more track meet, try to jump high, be in a cool environment, and then keep it rolling from there. Yeah. Yeah.
Which what are some of the coolest track stadiums and venues you've been to?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my sophomore year, I snuck into the NCAA tournament.
What you mean? Like you actually had to go under the fence and stuff, or they like barely let you in because of your height requirement?
Because of my height requirement.
Gotcha.
They take the top 48 kids in the country, and I was like low 40s. So
Okay.
I snuck in with the mark of 207, which was just under 6'10". Like it was like 6'9.5". So I was just happy to be there. And it was at Hodges Field. It's like a very iconic track stadium. It's at the University of South Florida, or North Florida, I believe. So it was just me and my coaches. We went down there, and I'm watching all these kids in prelims from LSU. I see all the jerseys, Clemson, all the ACC schools, and it's just me with my Bryant jersey, and they don't even know, what Bryant is and stuff. And in track, it's like, it's not loud environments really. Even in college, it's very like serene. Everyone's kind of watching their own individuals. But like at high jump, you got the lights on you. You have actual fans that come and pay to watch you because like these are the best kids in the country, and you're jumping, and it felt like a totally different sport. So I mean, that was a crazy one. And then just whenever we traveled to cool environments like the Carolinas or a conference championship meet when the stakes are high, those are always fun as well. Yeah,
man. I used to like think about, because as you know, my PR in high jump in high school was 7 feet. Frame. 7 feet. No, I think door frame is like 7'5" or something. It was just under the door frame.
Yeah.
7 feet. But I always thought like if I jumped in college, how many times would I have been able to clear 7 feet? Because I only did it once in my life.
That's the same. Yeah, it's the same.
And there are people that jump 7 feet every time they show out. You know,
at prelims in the NCAA tournament, there were practice times blocked off for schools. It was Auburn. This kid Dontavius Hill. You've probably heard of him.
I think he's like he just influencer. He's just won some championship or something. Yeah.
He's a professional athlete. His PR is like 7'7". So Auburn pulls up with like a busload of kids for their practice. And me and my coaches just pull up. It's just us. We don't have a bus or anything. All those kids made it. And my practice block, it's like me, him on the mat, and then like a kid from the University of South Carolina. And I'm watching him jump, and I'm like, holy crap. And then you see him compete in the real meet, and his opening height is 7'2".
Opening height?
There's levels to that.
That's how you know? Yeah, man.
Like there's levels.
Yeah, so that's how you know when you got it down, right? When you're opening at 7'2".
Oh my gosh.
I used to do that in high school, not open at no 7'2", but I used to wait. I used to just sit there and wait
till someone gets out.
Because I had 3 other events. I was long jumping. I was doing the 4x1, and I was running the 100.
Yeah, what's the point of jumping 6 feet when kids are getting out? I'll go run the 100, come back, jump 6'4", win, and then try a high height.
And sometimes, like you would obviously go in and check in and be like, "Hey,
what's the bar at?" Yeah.
No, I would check in and be like, "Hey, this is my opening height." And tell them like, "Oh, I'm not coming until 6'4".
Yeah.
But sometimes I wouldn't be able to do that because I'd be long jumping, and then they would start high jump, and then
the bar just keeps going up.
Yeah, and then they would be like, "Oh, we're at 6 feet. We can't put that on." I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna pass anyways." Like, since you couldn't wait for me, we know what's
going on. Yeah,
because I've been running around. And long jump and high jump is one end of the football field and back. So that's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
Man. So yeah, you're making me think. Like if I would have went out for the track team, maybe I would have had some of that kind of, been to
regionals,
Oregon or Penn or
oh my gosh, Penn, I totally missed that. Penn Relays is probably the best meet I've been to. That was unbelievable, bro. Yeah,
that Ivy League stadium is historic, man. Yeah. So I also wanted to, before I got into the last this or that question, ask you one. How high do you think you can high jump right now?
Ooh, I don't know. My training now is totally different. I'm lifting weights, training jiu-jitsu. I'm eating a lot more, trying to gain some weight. It's still, I haven't been out of it long enough. I think I could get the 2 meter bar right now for sure, which is about 6'7". So
6'7"?
Yeah.
Dang. I haven't jumped that high yet.
I don't know.
So
I haven't been out of it for that long. So I gotta bet on myself a little bit.
Yeah, no, I get that. That 6'7". Okay. I this summer I've been training some high jumpers. So I actually put the bar up. No spikes, no measured mark. I cleared 6'4".
Yeah, that's legit. Yeah, you've been out of it for a minute with no spikes.
So we're going to have a jump off next summer.
Yeah,
I'll give you 6 weeks.
Some time.
I'll give you 6 weeks to train. We have a jump off.
Yeah, that'll be fun, bro.
All right, word. All right, this or that. Last question, number 3. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Since you're a recent college graduate, we're going to look into the future. This would be coaching high school basketball or that?
For myself.
Yep, for you. So either coach high school basketball or coach high school track.
High school basketball, no doubt about it. I would say that. High school basketball. Track is very easy to coach. I like to be challenged and learn. Track, you kind of set the foundation as a coach and you adapt with different athletes. Basketball, you have to manage people. You have to manage a team. You need to control the locker room. You need to pick leaders. You need attention to detail. You have defense and offense. You have film sessions. You have skill sessions. You need to hold kids accountable. You have to deal with traveling, more specifically. shoot around. It's really cool, and there's a lot of moving parts. And I think that would challenge me as just a young man. And I would love to see kids grow within a team rather than coaching individual athletes in track. But track is awesome my coach my sophomore year brought me up like 5 inches from my freshman year. So he must have been pumped, and he had a lot to do with that. So
who was your coach that year?
His name was Sean Rakow. He ended up leaving. I had a new coach, but he worked with me a ton because my schedule for classes was meant for basketball. So in college that you would know they set your schedule around your practice time for football. So my class schedule was set around basketball.
So you had class late in the day.
So I was missing track practice because I had class because I was on the basketball schedule. So he was staying late individuals with me, and we got really good, and we had a good relationship. So there's no wrong answer. I'm just a team sport guy myself, so I'm gonna go with basketball.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna actually talk to you about a little proposition I put out there in the air just so I can compete against you in the near future. But I'm gonna challenge that thought that you said coaching track is a little easy.
Yeah.
It's probably maybe a little easier or less complex.
Yeah.
And I know what you meant by it, but
yeah.
One thing I wanted to challenge you was like, how would you approach what if someone really loved high jump and it just wasn't their event? What if someone was actually good at high jump and it's not their event? How do you actually work that for the team? And we talked a little bit earlier about, jumping into that role and doing a bunch of things. I did 4 events at my track meets just so I can help score points and get us on the board, right? Whether we're winning dual meets or when we're trying to place at states. If I qualified for the long jump, high jump, and the 4x1,
what do you pick?
Well, I did all 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do I perform optimally for all 3 events in a state meet when you're at the highest level in high school, right? Because I didn't compete in college, but imagine you qualify for the league championships in long jump and high jump. How does that work? And it's like,
it's a lot
going
to balance,
out and doing it and trying to actually excel and perform. It's challenging, and it's something that a lot of people can't really do. And that's why there are people like multi-event athletes and heptathletes and decathletes that are, what are the decathletes? I don't know why I said decathletes. Decathletes that focus on doing multiple events. Shout out to Brandon again. We check out episode 2 if you haven't. But yeah, man, coaching track is something that has challenged me to think about the sport differently.
Oh, for sure.
And I've always been a basketball, football coaching guy. I want to coach on the fly. I like basketball. I always tell people basketball is my favorite sport to coach.
Yeah.
And I've coached at the JV level. I've been varsity assistant. I coached AAU, I actually was a head JV. My first basketball coaching job was head JV at Hull.
No way. Yeah.
So I drove out to Hull High School every day and coached them, and we won some games that we weren't supposed to, and just seeing those kids rile up. And it was probably like 2 years removed out of, it was like, as soon as I got back from CFL tryouts, I started substitute teaching, and my old teacher was like, "Hey,
you want to hop out? Yeah.
I'm coaching at Hull. If you want to come, I need a JV coach." And I just jumped on it, and it was an opportunity. I brought my friend out there. We had a good time. That kind of got me into the basketball mode where it's like thinking about what's going on every minute and how you're going to adjust people on the fly. And that's what I like about basketball. Football is a little more stop and go and a lot of preparation. But track is just about trying to make sure your athlete is just able to perform optimally, as best as they can. And some people reach a plateau. Some people can break through, but it might not be in that event. They might plateau in one event, then you put them in another event, and then they're world class, Yep. So it's just about trying to find the right spot for people and using their athleticism to their advantage.
Yeah, I agree. The cool thing with coaching, you said basketball and track. Basketball, if you have a really good coach and you set a really good game plan, I think that you could beat a better team than you. Track, if you have athletes that simply aren't as good as the other athletes, it's very tough to do that.
Well, even in an event like high jump, I've had some really good athletes come out for high jump, or even that I've jumped against when I was in high school, and they could not get over the bar.
I know. Very technical, man. And if someone's better than you in an individual sport, they're better than you. 1 second in a sprint is a lot. 2 inches in a jump is a lot. So it's very hard to upset kids in an individual sport. compared to a team sport. There's more moving parts.
Yeah, 100%. All right, man. Well, that was This or That. Thank you for participating in that segment. I just have a couple of round out questions just to talk. I want you to talk a little bit about, your current job. You mentioned you're in project management. There's a lot of moving pieces, but in college you had some preparation for that with your internships and stuff like that. But what has been the biggest adjustment post-college going into your current job, if you want to talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course, bro. I mean, the biggest adjustment is just, it's a brand new life. You deal with finances, and you kind of, you wake up one day and you realize, like, this isn't like my summer to have fun and collect a few bucks before I go back to college. Like, I'm now on the same playing field as an individual, like my father. I'm a grown man now that needs to be able to provide for myself, and I need to figure out what I'm good at in my career. And I was thankful to be with a great company and have a great job and be with a great project team. That's helped me a lot. But there's a lot of work that I need to do. The biggest adjustment is, like I said, starting brand new. I'm the young kid in the room. I need to do what I can to help our team. I'm in general contracting, so it's construction. I'm on a big construction project right now in Worcester. And, I've had trouble with different material submittals, reading drawings. It's all foreign to me. I was a college athlete, but making it work, sometimes work that may take an hour for, the project executive will take me 3 days. So it's really tough to deal with. But it's very cool at the same time, because you're learning new skills and you're dealing with a lot of moving pieces, all to reach a common goal, which I had the background in from sports that helped me in this industry to reach this common goal to meeting our deadline, meeting our budget, dealing with different people, dealing with owners, dealing with the architect, putting it all together, and then slowly seeing all the floors in the building get built, getting the inspections. I'm learning a ton, and it's awesome. And the only thing that stinks is the commute. That's all.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's great, man. It's definitely an adjustment, though. So you kind of just got to lean in and be vulnerable and just do what you can every day.
And the commute part is probably just because you enjoy family life.
I enjoy rent free right now, man. Yeah, I'm gonna save out, and yeah.
Yeah, man. It sounds like you set yourself up in a good position.
Yeah.
You came into high school, into college prepared, and then by the time halfway through college, you were kind of made a realization that kind of set forward your future.
Next?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now 3 years in advance, like now in the future, you're actually at a point where your hard work is actually paid off for, and you've gained so much, not only from just the schooling that you've been through and focusing on your academics and going through the internships, but actually putting yourself out there as an athlete, going through multiple sports, dealing with that emotional, having personal and different kind of, situations and relationships, and dealing with being away from your family and coming back and forth. And all of that to say, like, the point of this podcast is to give back to high school athletes.
That's what it's all about,
and
man.
See what they can get from ex-college athletes or current college athletes about the purpose of playing sports and how it benefits your life. So if you wanted to wrap it up, as this is a season finale, I just wanted to get one last piece of advice for these kids, man. Like, what can they get out of high school sports that they can use in the future? And whether it be, playing basketball, track, or football in
Any
college,
sport.
what can they get out of athletics?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And just looking back on some things at my younger self, right? Like, I've changed, I would say, 3 times major. And I look at my high school self, I was a totally different man. Nothing worse, nothing better, just a different type of dude. Same thing in college. And now it's the same thing. So I would say just to use sports as a tool to be around people, to network as much as you can, to learn skills that will translate into a career that you're eventually going to dial in on. And just enjoy this experience, be where your feet are at, and don't play the destination game. Don't think when you achieve X, you're going to feel X. You kind of need to just enjoy the process. I know it sounds cliche, but like it's very serious. And that's something that I struggled with growing up with sports is, okay, I want to make Division I. Okay, I made Division I. Now I want to win this. Now I want to do this. Well, I won this. And if I don't win this, I'm not good. I was playing the destination game, gold medal syndrome, whatever you want to call it. And now it's like, okay, I got a job, but now I want to make this much money. But now I want to get away from my family and start my own life. It's like, you need to be where your feet are at. Use sports to teach you a lot about life. Find your values and just keep working hard, keep training hard, and take it day by day rather than, forward thinking. So that's what I would say. Hey,
man, that was a great take. And I do think that you have proven that, time, preparation, and intentionality is something that will take you to where you're trying to go. But
exactly,
you're just getting started. You know what I mean? And you've had this storied legacy behind you, right? Mm-hmm. As far as like going through your school and then getting to where you did what you did in college. And like, that's something you can take with you forever and go out there and use it in the world to provide service or to give a product out there or to just make the world a better place one day at a time.
Exactly,
right?
Bro. Use it to your advantage for sure.
Well, man, this has been Talk That Talk with Mike Marshall. Thank you, man, for coming out here. Thank you guys for watching. This season has been more than I thought it could be. Thank you, Justin, for everything you've done, man, putting this all together. And this is something I've been planning for about 5 years. And finally got it to get to work. I've been doing bits and pieces, but I'm looking forward to having another season coming out soon, maybe next summer, because I'm going to be busy as all heck once the school year starts up. So we're going to try to jump back in, but next summer, I'm definitely going to challenge you to a jump off, and we might get some other high jumpers out there.
Yeah.
I know there's some college athletes out there that
we'll have some fun,
are
bro.
Going out there right now. So if you're still with it and you got some time, because like you said, you're busy with your job.
Everyone's busy. You make time for what you want, man. We'll do it.
Let's get a jump off. Yeah. And my wife's going to kill me when she sees this, but hey, I'm high jumping again. Let's go.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, man. Mike, cool. I appreciate you. Coach KB, I'm here with Talk That Talk. See you guys whenever I see y'all. Peace.
Cool.